So I know it's been a little while. I took a week off to concentrate on a project that I had that had a deadline on it. And I finished that, but I've also decided to change things up again with my channel because I need to finish book 3 of the Toby Garrison Chronicles. I think I've been overdoing it a bit with YouTube. It was something I was really enjoying, but I need to step back a little bit so that I have time to finish book 3. So I'll be filming one video a week, and I'll be uploading that video every Friday. Today I decided to do another author Q&A. What comes first, the plot or characters? Well, I've done it both ways. There was a story, a feature script that I wrote back in Vancouver Film School, back when I was a student at Vancouver Film School, and I started with a character that I just couldn't get out of my head, to the point where I named my cat after him. It says something. That was years later, but still, I named my cat after him. Anyway, it's Tucker, who appears in Good Samaritan and will get his own book series as a spin-off in a book or two in the future. I'm not sure when. After, I think it's going to be after book 4. He'll be spun off into his own series. But I started with character for that, and it was difficult because I had this character in mind and I kept trying to plop him into different scenarios. And I mean, this will be different for every author. Some authors find it easier to go with a character first, but that screenplay took a really long time for me to nail down what the plot was going to be around that character. I finally got it finished, but around that same time I decided to start writing books instead of screenplays. But with Pride Be Damned, I had the plot idea, not completely mapped out or not completely fleshed out, but I had the plot idea in mind and then added in the characters. And the characters changed a little bit, the plot changed a little bit, but the process happened a lot faster for me. So now it is plot first and then character, at least concept of a plot. And then I'll decide what kind of character would fit best into that plot that can create the best kind of conflict, tension, and drama and things like that. Describe your writing space. Okay, so this has changed recently. Up until last summer, my writing space varied from my bedroom, where I would sit up with a bunch of pillows behind me and have my laptop on my lap and write, or my notebook on my lap and write, depending on what stage of the writing process I was in. And it would go from there to the dining room. Sometimes I'd be in the dining room writing. So it kind of varied at that point. Now I have my own office, which is this place here. And I have a whiteboard where I can break down the structure of my stories. And my computer, and I've got an L-shaped desk now. And I actually changed it around recently as well. I have the computer on this side here, and I have my notebooks and everything at the end where I would write, and it just ended up being too cumbersome to have my little pen jar underneath the shelf. And every time I tried to get a pen, I would bump my hand against the shelf or whatever, and it just wasn't. When I'm writing, I just need everything to be within easy reach. So I moved that around actually just yesterday. So now my computer is over at the end with the monitor up on the shelf and the keyboard below the shelf. And I have my makeup box and everything next to the monitor for when I'm doing videos like this. I can put my makeup on really quickly. And then I have my binders and my notebooks, most of my notebooks, and my pens and my index cards and my highlighters and my highlighter stickies and my sticky notes and my little resource books like English grammar books and thesaurus and things like that. Just when I'm drawing a blank on something, I can check But yeah, so I recently changed that around, but that is my writing space now. I have all my notebooks handy for my research for my book and for notes that I've made and my outline and previous outlines in case I want to go back and throw a couple of those ideas into the mix for the new outline. It's crazy. So for those of you who don't know, book 3 has actually been a work in progress since I think 2019, and I keep changing my mind about the plot. So the original plot for book 3 is now going to be book 4, and then I started an outline for book 3, and that has changed a couple times as well. The base concept for the new book 3 has remained the same, but the plot surrounding it has changed a little bit from time to time. So I have notebooks, more than one. How is it that Riley said it on MacGyver? I was rewatching some old episodes of the MacGyver reboot recently. So I have notebooks, comma, lots on Good Samaritan, or not Good Samaritan, on book 3. And then index cards with little notes that I don't want to forget, things like that. So that's my writing space right now. It's a little hectic. How do you deal with the emotional impact of a book on yourself as you are writing the story? Essentially, I throw that emotional impact into my writing. So I don't ignore it. Say I'm writing a dramatic scene. I love those scenes. Those scenes are a lot of times what I'm working my way towards, and I don't want them to be melodramatic, so I'm throwing in a lot of action and a lot of trauma to make those scenes worthy of the drama that unfolds in them. When I was writing Good Samaritan and Pride Be Damned, there are a couple of emotional, powerful emotional scenes, like just where Toby or Asher are dealing with the traumatic events that have happened, and when I'm feeling the dramatic tension, or sometimes I feel the emotion in my gut, and I just throw that emotion into the story, into my writing, and hopefully, I'm hoping that other people feel it as well as they read it. From what I've heard, they have, but you can let me know. Let me know in the comments. If you read my books, let me know in the comments if you felt the emotion that Toby and Asher have felt when they've been dealing with trauma. Or there was a point in Pride Be Damned when Jake was feeling the traumatic effects of what had happened as well. So yeah, let me know if you felt it as well. Oh, and in Good Samaritan, Tucker goes through some trauma as well. But anyway, that's also as a setup for the series that will be happening for Tucker. The pain for Tucker has not ended. Writers can be so cruel to their characters, but we have to be in order to create the dramatic impact, right? When writing a series, how do you keep things fresh for both your readers and also yourself? It's really hot in here. First of all, I make sure that the things that I set up in earlier books, they're not all paid off, but I make sure at least some of them are. Hi guys, Future Ellen here. I'm just editing this video, and I just wanted to clarify, when I say that I'm paying off some of my setups but not all of them, I just mean I pay off some setups in each book and other ones are saved for later books. So I hope that makes sense. Okay. Talk to you guys later. Back to the video. Because there's one storyline, what happened to Toby's mother. That will not be resolved until the final book. But I was careful to weave the effects of that trauma into Good Samaritan and Pride Be Damned. It's just the resolution won't come about until book 5. And to keep it fresh, I do an outline. And I also have fun with the dialogue for Toby and Asher. And Jake. Jake, I make sure a few times throughout the stories to throw in a Jakeism, which is basically Jake misusing a word. Sometimes on purpose. Sometimes he knows he's doing it, sometimes he doesn't. And I just have fun with that, because Toby and Asher, most of the time, unless Jake gives them like a little wink or a grin, they don't really know when Jake is being serious and when he isn't. And I write that in there where they're just kind of like, okay, what do I do here? So, and they tease him, and he goads them on. He really pushes the envelope with it, and he has fun with it. And I think they call that a troll, where somebody tries to get a rise out of people. And that's what Jake does with Toby and Asher. He tries to get a rise out of them by using improper grammar or using the wrong word in the context of the conversation and things like that. So I try to have fun with it. I try to have fun with the characters. It's not just drama. It can't be just drama. And I have fun with Asher, because Asher loves using big words. He's like, he's very, I guess, precocious. He's 13, but he has this love affair with words that was instilled to him by his dad, because they used to play this word game. And I think his mom too, but his mom is a different story these days. But he has this love affair with words, where he just loves using big words. So you might read the book, you might read one of the books and say, would a 13-year-old say that? Most 13-year-olds probably not. Asher, yeah, he does. And Toby will make mention of at different times, and yeah, it's really fun to write. And I love writing the banter between Toby and Asher, and between Toby and Jake. And I just finished writing something which has a large Asher-Jake dynamic, as well as some Toby mixed in at the end, and it's a lot of fun. That's how I keep it fresh for me, and I hope that keeps it fresh for everyone else as well. On the other side of the coin, I try to make sure that the trauma that each character suffers is not the same as previous traumas. Neither is the reaction. It's human nature to hold back your emotions, to hold back some of your pain. And Toby and Asher are fortunate enough to have caregivers, at least one caregiver, who wants them to feel safe feeling what they need to feel. They can't have the same reaction every time. Each book they have to grow a little bit. But each book the trauma gets a little bit worse as well. I just keep trying to up the ante with the drama and the traumatic events and things like that, and the reactions. I try to up the ante while still staying out of the melodramatic realm. What was your favorite part and your least favorite part of the publishing journey? Favorite part was the writing. I don't know if that counts. Yeah, that's part of the publishing journey. You can't publish it if you don't write it first. Which includes the outlining and the brainstorming, just the whole writing process. I love it. I love writing. It's a big passion of mine. My least favorite part is the marketing. As an author, it is so difficult to get your book in people's hands. So many different ways to do it, but figuring out which way works is difficult. So this YouTube channel, for example, being in front of the camera was so terrifying for me, but I wanted to connect with my readers. I wanted to also possibly connect with new readers. Marketing, when you don't have a large marketing budget, is difficult. And my marketing budget has basically been zero. So the people who have read my books seem to have really enjoyed them based on the reviews. Another reason the marketing is my least favorite is because I'm not really good at selling myself. I'm not really good at saying, hey, read my books, they're awesome. Because as much as I love them, as much as I love my characters, books are subjective. And what if I tell you that my books are awesome and then you read them and you don't like them? I'll feel like I've misrepresented myself. So, do you find it more challenging to write the first book in a series or to write the subsequent novels? I think both come with their own challenges. So the first book, you're creating the characters, you're creating their backstory, you're creating the initial plot and praying that it's strong enough and dynamic enough to hook a reader and make them want to watch make them want to read the next book. And with the sequels, if you've done a really good job in the first book, you have to either live up to that potential or exceed it. B, you have to make sure that you remember the backstory that you created and pray that it's able to carry through into later books. And C, you have to remember the things that you set up, which I guess is sort of backstory, but not only backstory. There's things that you would have set up in book 1, and you don't want to go against that in sequels. I had to finally write down the birthdays for my characters. It's also fun because you're able to play with these characters and you know them. So you know how they're going to react to things. You just have to make sure that you know that you're remembering correctly. So I've had to go back a few times, and now I've made a list of things to remember. So yeah, it goes both ways. There's pluses and minuses to writing the first book, to writing the sequels, and then writing the final book. That's still a few books away for Toby Garrison. Maybe even more than a few books, I don't know. But one thing I did, once I decided that Pride Be Damned was going to be the first book of a series, I planned out certain storylines that I want to work towards. Because a lot happens, and I want to make sure that it's earned. I want to make sure it's not melodramatic, and I also want to make sure that the characters are set up correctly, and the villain is set up correctly. So, yeah. Anyway, enough on that. So that's what I have for you today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please like and subscribe, and don't forget to click that bell so that you'll get notified when I upload new videos, which will be every Friday. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great day. Stay happy, healthy, and safe. Bye-bye.